Yeah, I started with it. Yeah. So once you install that, hold on. Please, can you please give me control? Nothing to rush. Okay, please. Yeah, I got the control. So once you download this LoadRunner 2021 version, right? So this is the latest version of LoadRunner. Okay. So LoadRunner 2021 Community Edition. Community Edition means trial version base. Okay. So for the same license, you can apply for the same Community Edition trial version. You can, if you apply the license key, that becomes a trial licensed version. Okay. So now once you download this, right? So basically, I have shown you like if you want to download LoadRunner from the Micro Focus site, you need an official email ID or a student email address. Right? So if not, I will share the, if you don't have a student, I mean, when I say student email address, you know, your university email address or college email address. If you have that, you can use that. Otherwise, you have to use an official email address, right? So if you don't have official email address or this student email address, I shared my Google Drive. I have downloaded it and shared my Google Drive, and in that way, like few people have this already, right? So once you download this, right? So see, observe here, the size will be 1.5 GB approximately. See there, right? 1.45 GB is the total size of this file. So why? Because like if you install this, three components will be installed actually. Vugen, controller, analysis. Three components will be installed, right? And make sure that make sure that you have enough free space in the drive, right? In the drive in which you are installing. Suppose if you see here, C drive has 34 GB, E drive 104 GB, F drive, and so on. Right? Let me check what is the RAM also. The first time you open Task Manager, you see like this. Pritish, can you please click on more details? Pritish, is this a new laptop or a desktop? This one, is this a desktop or a laptop? Pritish, I think you are on mute. Okay, use Alt A to unmute. Alt A.
Yeah. Can you hear me? It is desktop.
Yeah. This is desktop only.
Yeah, desktop.
Okay. So can you go to Performance tab, please, in Task Manager? Yes. So this is a Pentium processor. Okay. I'm not sure whether Pentium processor will be supported or not, because I haven't come across any Pentium processor. So let's see. And memory is 6 GB. So let's see that. Okay. So yeah, you can close this, please. Go close this Task Manager and continue with the installation. Yeah. So in E drive you have 104 GB. Yeah, you can proceed here. Yes. So once you download that, right? Yeah. So double click on that to launch the installer. Yeah, click next. Here you can see Microsoft Micro Focus LoadRunner 2021 Community Edition. Right? Now Community Edition means trial version. Yes. Yeah. Click on next. But Pritish, I'm not sure whether Pentium processor supports this or not. I'm not sure. Let's see. We'll get to know, because till now I haven't come across any Pentium processors. Mostly I see i3s or i5s. Is anyone else installing, guys?
I have installed.
You already installed it?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Now let me pause. Yeah. So let me explain what is this. So it's saying that the following prerequisites must be installed before you can install LoadRunner. Right? The following prerequisites must all be installed before you can install Micro Focus LoadRunner. So what does it require? It is showing here. See, verify. So installing network virtualization requires disabling the Windows Smart Screen, verifying that all the required Microsoft Windows updates are installed in the OS. Right? So yeah, those who did not start installation, right? So first to do Windows updates. If you haven't, if you turned off Windows updates, turn them back, turn Windows Update on, and do all the Windows updates and then proceed with this, right? Now, here it is showing only Microsoft Visual C++ 2015 distributor. Click OK, so that what it will do, it will first install all this. Click OK. See, you can read it here. Click OK to begin installing these programs now. Yeah. Now it will install the required, required software. LoadRunner is now installing the required software. Clear, guys? Right. Now you can see here it is computing space requirements. Yeah, click next. So hold on, please. 1 second. So observe here, select the products you want to install and click next to continue. So by default, LoadRunner will be selected. Go with the default option. And click next. Yeah. Yes. Now in this window, accept the terms and conditions. Yeah, the terms in the license agreement and click next. That's mandatory. Right. And now it will be installed in, by default, it will be installed in C drive, C program files x86. Okay. So click next. So you have 34 GB in C drive. That's enough. Yeah. Click install now. I already shared a video on this case, like from the previous batch. So how to install LoadRunner and how to install Java and how to set up JMeter. Okay. So for JMeter, there is nothing like installation. So you need to start JMeter by using a batch file. So that's not an actual installation. Okay. So we will start JMeter by using batch file. So good thing with JMeter is you need not have admin rights on your machine. You can install JMeter on your office machine, or generally most of the office machines, like they don't provide admin privileges, right? Guys, are you able to follow me? So you can install JMeter on you can set up JMeter on office machine also, because that doesn't require any admin rights on the machine. Guys, is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Please go through the video link that I shared. Please, that is my previous session recording. I shared one video, I think yesterday, on how to install LoadRunner and how to install Java and JMeter setup. Okay, Pritish, it's going faster only, Pritish. Pentium. It's saying that gold is.
Thank you.
It's saying that gold is gold. Maybe at that time it was a latest processor when you bought this desktop.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyways, free. Yeah. Now it is registering some component objects. Let it complete. There are 259 objects so that it should register, as you can see here. It will take some time. I will pause record. Yes. So this is the only step that you need to do some, all other steps are clicking next button. So this is the only step that there will be some deviation. So here you have to uncheck the certificate, the first checkbox. Uncheck that and click next. That's it. Yes. Now click finish. No need of installation log. No need. Click finish. Now, what is it saying? Do you want to open the file? What file actually? It is showing, README file. It will open README file. Yeah, click OK and it will open a README file. Resume recording, right? Yes. Now see here, this is README file for LoadRunner Professional. Okay. Can you please give me control, Pritish? I just want to, yeah, yes. So this is Loadrunner README file. So what does that mean? README file means, so this document helps you, explains you what is new in this version, right? And what are the system and protocol requirements, right? And installation guide. This link takes you to the Loadrunner professional installation guide and known issues and so on. If there are any known issues and so on. And also it will tell you like what are in this first link, right? What is new? So it explains, it covers like what are the list of new features and enhancements for this version, right? You can bookmark this, British. You can add bookmark this. So we may need this. We may need this in, you can bookmark that. Yeah. Resume recording. Yeah, for the recording purpose, let me repeat it, guys. So when you install Loadrunner, you get these three components: virtual user generator, controller, and analysis. The first component we will be using is virtual user generator. In short, that is called as VUGen, right? VUGen, virtual user generator. So, and this component is useful for scripting, right? Your script development and debugging. So we use this virtual user generator. And for test executions, we use this controller component. And to analyze the test results, we use this analysis component. So this is briefly about these three components. Hey, sorry guys, I'm speaking on mute. In the last session, I explained like how to record a script with VUGen. So is anyone else facing any issue, guys, in installation? Can I take your silence as no? Okay. So now click on file, British. Or else let me, yeah, new file and solution, right? Let me explain the UI first, guys. So this is called as menu bar. From the menu bar, like this is called as menu bar. Hold on, let me try it. Let me highlight it. So this is called as menu bar. As I explained in JMet also explained this. This is called as menu bar. And in file, you have some options to for new script and solution. This is to open an existing script, right? This is to add files to this Loadrunner. So you have a couple of options over here, isn't it? So if you click on add new script, to add new script or an existing script, right? So you have this add option, right? And close the document. This is to close. So we'll see this one by one. So first you have to go to new script and solution. If you want to record a script, you have to go to new script and solution. And by default, single protocol will be selected. Observe here. By default, single protocol will be selected. And these are the different protocols supported by Loadrunner. So Loadrunner, as I mentioned in the previous sessions, it's a very matured and evolved tool. It's almost like developed like 22 years back, right? So it was developed by a company called Mercury. Actually, Loadrunner was developed by an organization or a product-based company called Mercury, right? So in 1999. Please give me a moment, guys. I'm opening that Loadrunner PPT. Yeah. So you can see my screen, right? So Loader is a performance testing tool which was pioneered by Mercury in 1999. Right? Pioneered means this was first, developed, or this is the first performance testing tool that was invented in the market, guys. And it was developed by a company called Mercury. Initially, it was called as Mercury Loader, and then in 2006, HP Enterprise bought that from Mercury. At the time, it was called as HP Loader. And in 2016, Loader was acquired by Micro Focus. Currently, Micro Focus is owning this Loader, right? So the reason why I'm explaining this is some people ask, like, is HP Loader and Mercury Loader different? No, all these are one and the same. There is only one Loader tool, but why it has different names is Mercury is the company that invented this, or or developed this performance testing tool Loader in 1999. Later on, HP Enterprise bought that in 2006. At that time, it was called as HP Loader. From 2006 to 2016, it was owned by HP Enterprise. And in 2016, Loader was acquired by Micro Focus. So right now, Micro Focus, it's called as Micro Focus Loader. Clear, guys? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And Loader supports various development tools, technologies, and communication protocols. It supports various development tools, technologies, and communication protocols. This is the only tool in the market that supports such large number of protocols to conduct performance testing. Right? Now let me launch Loader on my machine. This is called a splash screen. SPLASH, splash screen. And splash screen shows you the version of this particular tool. Right here you can see version 2021. And remember, from 2020 onwards, they are naming the versions with the year, right? Previously, it used to be Loader 8, Loader 9. I worked from Loader 8, right? So Loader 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, and so on. The minor releases, they used to name it as .1, .2, .3. Okay. Why I'm explaining this, there is a reason, guys. Okay. So those who want to claim experience, right? So they will ask you which version of Loader you are working now, right? Or what is the Loader version you worked previously in your first project, right? So previously the version numbers used to be like this: Loader 7 and 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, and so on. Those are minor versions. And then Loader 8, and then Loader 9, and then Loader 10, 11, right? 10, 11 till, and minor versions, these are major versions, guys. And minor versions used to be something like this: 12.1, some 12.2. Understood, guys? 12.3, and later on we have 12.5. They did not release 12.4, I believe. Or else they might have released, I'm not sure. But it used to be like this: 12.5, 12.6, and so on. Right? From 2020 onwards, they are naming it as Loader 2020, right? From year 2020 onwards, right? Loader 2020 version was released in Feb 2020. So from then they started naming like this. They started using the year as the version. Now the latest version is 2021, right? There is.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
They may ask you, like, in your project, in your CV, you keep some 3 to 4 projects, right? So they may ask you to your first project and which version of Loader you used here. Don't say 13 or Loader 13 or Loader 14. There are no versions of 13 or 14. Previously, they used to be like this, like 10, you can say like I worked from 12.1 or from 12 version. You can say that I worked from 12.x. Generalize that and say that, you can say Loader 12.x. Okay. 12.x means 12 is the major version and x is the minor version. 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, and so on. Here, guys. Now, so once you launch Loader, right? So this is the UI, and let me show you. Go to File and New Script and Solution. Let me show you what all protocols that Loader supports. So if you observe here, so in each line you have, or in each column you have 8 protocols. Observe here, these are different protocols supported by Loader. Now, what is meant by a protocol? Let's understand what is meant by a protocol, right? So protocol is the language of communication between your browser and server. right? To give a simple definition of protocol, protocol is the communication language between your browser and server. Okay. I covered it in this performance testing introduction slide. Let me show you. We'll go back to performance testing, basic concepts from tomorrow, guys. Okay. As I can't speak much today, I started with installation. Understood, guys?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's not letting me to go. Okay. Fine. I have to clear some. My Gmail is full. I have to clear some. I have to make some free space. That's why I'm unable to move it. And you got it right. What is a protocol means here? In here, protocol means communication language between your browser and server. And these are the different protocols supported by load runner. So in each column, you have 8 protocols, right? And in that way, you have 4 full rows or full columns, and then one more here. So 33, right? It supports, is it? Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. For 8, 32 plus 133 protocols. It supports 33 protocols, right? And that's about this. And let me explain these things. Once you select the protocol, right? So based on whatever protocol you select, it will show some name by default. I think I covered this already in the previous session. Based on whatever protocol you select here, it will show some default name. Suppose I selected web HTTP HTML protocol. That's why you are seeing the script name as web HTTP HTML1. If you select web services, right? Observe here, it shows the script name as default name as web services 1. You can change it as per your requirement. Okay. You can change it as per you can give your own name. You can give some meaningful name. And the next field shows you like a default path for this default path of load runner scripts. Right? By default, it will be in C drive documents we use on scripts. Default path. Here, guys, default path will be documents we use on scripts folder. So here you can create one folder if you want for each project. You can go to that folder, documents, views, and scripts, and create one folder for each project, each application that you are going to test, that you are going to do scripting and text executions. Right? Pritish, can you please share back your screen so that I can do it on your machine? Yes. So select, by default single protocol will be selected. Observe here. By default single protocol will be selected. And select web HTTP HTML, correct? Yeah. And now give some name to this. Let's give some name to the script. Right? So give the name as WebTools. So the first application that we are going to use is WebTools, right? So give the name as WebTools _ user registration REG. Just give a user REG registration. Yeah. And give the date if you want. December 1st, something like that. REC1. REC1. For REC for recording 1. I'll tell you why we have to, why should we follow this. I'll tell you soon. Yeah, 1st December. Perfect. And now, so you see here, right? Default path will be documents, views, and scripts, as I mentioned, right? Documents, views, and scripts. This is the default path. Now, what you do is go to that folder, copy the path from here. Please copy the path from here. Yeah. Open a file explorer. Yes. Right. You can go to documents. Under quick access, you have documents, right? Documents. Yeah. Click over there. VUgen. Documents, you should have a folder called VUgen. Okay. Okay, it is there in users. Go to view once. Please go to view once. Hidden items. Select that hidden items here. Here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go to that path. See users. go see users, whatever path it is showing, please go to that path. Documents, go to documents, type D. Yeah. Documents, VUgen. There is no folder called V. Okay, got it. Yeah. Once you start, it will be created. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the confusion. So go there, go to Loader once. Yeah. And now, enter some solution name in the next field, enter some solution name. Give name as WebTools. WebTools. Yeah. And now click create. Click create now. I think now it will be created. Go to C now. Go to C drive once. Go to that folder once. Now it should be created. The VUgen folder should be created. Yes. And here you can see scripts, and there you can see that webtools.ltsln means solution. It should be load test solution something. Right? I think it is load test solution. Hold on. Not that much important. Okay, you need not bother about that. Once you give me access, please. Can you go to that folder? Yeah. Virtual user test solution, right? So this file extension is LTSLN. Okay, fine. And this is a folder that this is the script that is created, right? Just now we clicked on create, right? This is an template, basically an empty script that it created just now. And you observe, right? The first time when you click on start recording, like create, then this VUgen folder will be created. Okay, now go to load another. So once you create a script, right, you'll see the let me explain this thing. So you see the solution name here. So Pritish gave the solution name as WebTools, right? That's why you are seeing here solution WebTools. Under that, this is the first script that we are going to do. WebTools user registration on this machine. This is the first script, right? So WebTools REC1. So this is the name given by him, isn't it? And observe here, by default, you will have actions, and under that you will have 3 actions. VUser init are 3 parts of the script. VUser init is one thing. So observe here, what is there? VUser init return 0. So we'll come to this. We'll discuss this. We'll understand this later. But for now, remember that there will be 3 actions by default called as VUser init, action, and VUser end. And VUser for virtual user, by the way. VUser is for virtual user. Okay, and init, action, and end. So we'll discuss what is the purpose of these 3 sections. Like we'll discuss that in the coming up sessions. First, let's understand the UI, right? And there is one more folder called extra files. In that you have globals.h, right? You have a file called globals.h. And observe here, global variables will be declared here. All the global variables will be declared here, right? And I will explain what is the global variable, what is local variable once we start the scripting. And like here you have something called runtime settings. This will be useful when you replay the script at the runtime, right? These will be applicable only when you replay the script. And the next file is parameters file. I have shown you yesterday, like not yesterday. Yesterday I think I covered JMeter, right? So last session, when I gave demo on loader scripting, you have already seen this parameters file, right? And there is something called recording report and replay summary in this left side tree or solution explorer. This window is called as solution explorer. Please note it down, guys. Okay, so those who have habit of running notes, right? So please note it down. Solution explorer. Okay. Some people take running notes. They have that habit of running notes, right? So if you write it down, you will not forget easily. Okay. And so going back to the script. Now how to and one more thing, by default, you see some output window at the bottom. Here you see this output window. So output window will show you, like when you record the script, it will show you the, so it will show you like, code generation log and recording log. I'll explain that later. So basically just remember that there is some output window at the bottom, and there are on the top, you have options to record the script. This is the option to record the script. Actually, this is the option to record the script. Okay. Previously, it used to be a red color. The recording button used to be in red color. Now from 2020 onwards, then they changed it like this, guys. Okay. So this is the option to record the script. And let us understand this different, menu options by the way. So if you click on record, okay, so most of the options, we mostly use this record, this one record option or menu item, record menu item, and design, record and replay, and tools, right? These are the mostly used, menu options, and integrations, of course, integrations, right? But while scripting, like we'll use this, like design and record and replay when we are doing scripting. There, guys. Now, how to shall I show you how to record the script, or shall we stop here, guys? I'll stop it here, guys, for today. I think I already shown you like how to record a script, right? In the previous session, I'll stop it here for today. So any queries before we close the session for today? I will be sharing this video as a